Hey, this is Lorena, and we're gonna do part 2 of this Queen of Diamonds project. Yes, I wanted to share some tips and tricks and some things that I kind of learned as I was in the process of making these diamonds. Alright, so let's do this. Tula Pink has a way of pushing out away from yourself. And I had a pattern of pushing towards myself. Another thing that you need to consider is like how you're going to stitch. Are you going to stitch away from yourself, from in out, or from outside in? I think we're used to stitching from the outside in. Tula Pink stitches from out in out, from inside yourself away. I use both. I found that stitching from within my body away, that I was able to see the paper better and I was able to find the edge better. But I also found that when I did that, the thread got caught more with the paper. And maybe that's just an assumption, or that's how it felt. When I stitched from out in, I felt like I could control the thread better from it getting caught into things. But I use both techniques. Both work well. This was just kind of odd for me, but the neat thing is when I'm holding the paper, I could literally use this finger to anchor myself to push in the needle, if that makes sense. Where to stitch. I was making such tiny stitches, I think I was kind of ruining the fabric. And so I tried to create something that gave me kind of like a viewpoint of what 18 stitches per square inch or 16 stitches per square inch look like, or what 20 stitches per square inch look like. And let me share, I lasered one of the name tags with the spray to get it to laser on the metal, and let me show you what I kind of came up with. Now, it did help initially because it showed me visually the placement, but what I really found that helped me is where I pulled the thread out, if I put the needle right next to it and put it in right next to, even if I moved a little bit to the side, just a smidge, that I got the best stitch placement. Do you see that? Feel that ledge? Where it comes up, my needle's right next to it, right there. Also too, I found that if I found the perfect edge, it was less likely to be seen in the front. If I went low, too low, is where you would see like an eyelash of a thread. But it takes time. My first ones were not as beautiful as I've been making a couple of them. As you go, you get better. But that's one of the things for spacing for me, where I pull the thread out, I put the needle right next to it. I found that really helped me. What I love is when you put the two pieces together, I recommend you use little magnets. I got the heart magnets on Amazon. You can also use magnet name tags and just take off the 3M off of them. And that's what I used. You can also use these little, whatever they're called. They're very small, so tight. They're great, okay? I'm not complaining about them. I think it's a great idea, but it's really expensive. So name tags and little heart magnets work just the same. So now we're going to talk about getting all your pieces together. I recommend that when you're doing block 1 or block 1 month 1, just to get your ruler and count all your pieces. If you have 10 diamonds, count all 10 diamonds for that ruler type that you need. And here you see me organizing how I got all the papers out, how I got the rulers out, and I got myself ready with templates and rulers. Is it the paper templates and the rulers organized? After I did that, I went ahead and gathered all the specific fabrics that Tula recommended for her block. Once you go have your fabric ready, I put all my other fabrics aside and worked on one fabric at a time. A lot of people in my class were trying to use the templates to cut the fabric with. I didn't do that. What I ended up using the templates for is to mark my fabric. I'm kind of stingy about my fabric and I don't want to waste it. And it's kind of weird using the rotary and angling in different angles. So what I did is I used my template rulers to go ahead and mark my fabric, okay? And that's all I used the template rulers for. I didn't use them to cut my fabric. And maybe because I marked my fabric instead of using the template rulers to cut my fabric, maybe that's why I didn't waste as much fabric, because what I went ahead and did is got a different ruler and my rotary and just cut the fabric in a straight line. And I started cutting the pieces the way I needed to. I found it was easier to just cut the marking lines and not use the ruler. I also noticed that I got better cuts and I didn't have to kind of like fussy cut with the ruler. I had a hard time with that, so I simplified that process for me. It really did help. I also didn't waste as much fabric as I saw other people waste, because some of the cuts are weird and angled, and I think that's where you waste a lot of fabric. But you know, I wanted not to waste as much fabric, so I did it this way. Ahead and I started gluing my fabric to my paper. One of the things I found is initially I was gluing the paper to the edge, on the edge, and I found that it was really hard to find that extra little fold and grab it well. So what I decided is I put the glue a little lower away from the edge of that paper, and it left me with like a little fullness on the paper. I don't know if you understand when I was talking about that little soft edging. You want a soft edge so you're able to grab the edge of the fabric. What I found for myself is the first ones that I did, I had them so tight folded over that I couldn't grab the fabric. I was grabbing the paper. And I don't know if you see kind of like that puddling right there. That's what I'm talking about. My glue is lower and I gave myself like a little breath. And I found when I did this, when I put my pieces together, that it was easier to grab the edge of that material. The pattern shows you specifically how they recommend for you to put it together. All the blocks have a pattern on how you put it together. This is, I believe, a suggestion, for example, a suggestion on how you put these two, then this, and then this. And then you put a component, maybe these together, and then this whole thing together. They have their suggestions on how you should do it, but if you find a simpler way, for me, I found that I did this set together, then I did this set together, then I did this set. So I changed it. I didn't do it the way they stated. Then I put this set to this set together, then this set to this set together. Does that make sense? Put a whole straight line together, going down. So they have suggestions on how you could put it together, but I recommend if you find something that works better for you, do you. That's my recommendation. So for example, I'm putting these two together currently. Yep. I don't know if you see that, but yeah.